guys, Kim here. Welcome to Backyard Blooms. In today's video, I have so much stuff to do here in the garden. It is early December and the temperatures are really nice today, but it's just a tad windy. So it's supposed to be in the 70s, but cloudy. We had much needed rain in the last couple of days, so very grateful for that. My gardens really did need it since I was actually have all my drip off in my garden for the probably last month because I didn't think that we really needed it. So I've been having to give my containers and all that kind of stuff some additional water lately. So grateful for all the rain that we got in the last couple of days. So there's lots of things that I need to get done today, and I even debated whether I wanted to video because there's so much that I need to get done. Because we had some really cold temperatures this past week, things are looking pretty bad and need to be cut back, and I've already talked about a lot of it. But what I mainly need today is prune some of my pansies that are in my containers because they're starting to look a little sad, and I need to get some alliums in the ground. I've got a ton of daffodils that I need to get into the ground. I overdid it, you all. I'm feeling like I'm a little bit overwhelmed, but once I get them in the ground, they're going to be so gorgeous for you guys in the springtime. So I'm excited to share all that with you. And what else do I need to do? I have some containers that I need stuff to be replanted. I still have sedum in a container that I need to get into the ground. I still have perennials that need to be cut back. I need to cut back some roses so I can put my alliums in there, and I just so love my alliums around my roses in the springtime. They just look so magical and Dr. Seuss like, so I'm pretty excited about getting those in the ground. And I don't feel like there's much to really talk about, so I think I'm just gonna film, and then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna talk over some things that I filmed about. So I think that's what my routine is going to be today. So I'm really excited to garden with you guys today, and give me a like and a thumbs up for this video to make sure that YouTube likes everything that I'm doing, and let me know that you like what I'm doing as well. And I'm at 75% of people that have not subscribed. My numbers are so much better than what they were, but I can up it, you guys. So come on, if you have not subscribed, please give me a big subscribe and a big like, and I so appreciate it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. So come on, guys, and garden with me today. So the tools that I'm going to use today is this pop-up bag, my Felco 2 pruners, and then I have my power plant auger in order to dig the alliums. And I love my power planter auger. This is from the Easy Dig kit, and look at these gorgeous alliums. They're just as big as a softball. They are gorgeous. They are from Color Blends, and it is called a Globemaster. And Color Blend states that it's the most spectacular of all alliums. It bears an 8-inch orb of lilac/pink flowers on a tall, stout stem. Now I feel like mine are more lilac/purple than they are pink. Because they're sterile, they do last a very long time. They make a very outstanding cut flower, fresh or dried, and I'm going to have to try these dried into my Christmas tree this year. I think that would be gorgeous. They're deer resistant, and they are zones 4A through 7, which I'm a zone 8, and I grew these last year, and they did fine for me. So here you can see that I'm pruning all back my roses right now. I'm not pruning them hard back, just giving them a light trim so I can get in here and plant these alliums. Now you see that some kind of rodent was trying to hide these into my garden. Anyways, I'm guessing it was the squirrels. Now I'm trying to get all of these leaves off my sprinter boxwoods because I'm trying to get everything up around the roses anyway. So after digging in here and getting these roses all pruned up and then getting the leaves out of it, they were really wet, and I don't really want to prevent disease. So I'm trying to go ahead and cut out some of the dead that I see too. So this right here is a dead stem, and I'm trying to get all these limbs out of my hand to show you a healthy green stem. So that's a healthy green stem, and that's a dead stem. So because these roses lay right under my crepe myrtle, I had a lot of leaves to get out. So like I said, they were really wet, and I want to prevent disease this year. I battled a lot of black spot this year, and I'm not sure why. I didn't really have that big problem last year, but we got a lot of rain in the springtime. So I'm just trying to get all these leaves up and then getting everything away from the roses, the base of the root, so I don't have this problem next year. And I love this little rake right here. So it makes it handy because you know that these roses have a ton of thorns and you get all pokey. So just getting all the leaves up. There was a ton of leaves. Of course, my crepe myrtles were absolutely gorgeous this year and really full since it's going on 4 years for them. So we all know that the first year they sleep, second year they creep, and the third year they leap, and they have already leaped. So just like I'm saying, just gathering up all these leaves. And then go ahead and try to get as much weeds up that you can also. So you could see that I pulled up a weed, and then here I'm just showing you where my drip is underneath the boxwoods, and then it also gives water to my roses as well. And I have little bees all over these boxwoods, so for some reason they're just enjoying this. Now this boxwood is a Japanese boxwood, not a, what are the ones? English boxwood. So you don't want to buy the English boxwoods. Everybody that complains that they smell like pea, they have an English boxwood, not a Japanese boxwood. Mine do not flower and they do not smell like pea. So I just showed you the areas that I'm going to plant the alliums, and then I need to get all these leaves up around this area too and make it look nice and tidy as well. And then I just love that bark on that crepe myrtle, and it's so pretty. I have lots of little mushrooms growing here too, so I guess that means I have really good fertile soil, right? So I'm just trying to clean up all these leaves around my crepe myrtle and roses. One, two, three. I'm just teasing you. Anyways, I'm trying to get everything in this pop-up bag. I think I've already emptied about 5 or 6 pop-up bags today. Just because it's winter, do not ignore these weeds that you see in your sod. I have Bermuda sod, and my sod has already gone dormant, but you can see that I still do have some winter weeds growing. So go ahead and pull those up if you see them, and don't let them go to seed because you're going to be sorry in the springtime. So I've placed my alliums where I'm going to place them, and I have 50 alliums that I'm going to plant this year, and I'm planting 5 right here in each quadrant. And I have my biotone so I can develop healthy roots, and then like I said, I do have my power planter too. So these bulbs are so big, even with this 3-inch auger, I'm just going to be able to plant 1 bulb in each hole that I make. And these bulbs look so healthy, nice and pretty. And you want to plant those little roots down. Though they're not like a tulip or a daffodil, they don't have a pointy side to them. So this is the roots, so you're going to plant that down, just like so. And I'm not going to lie, some of them didn't have a lot of roots on them, so that made me a little bit nervous, but it was more than just one, so I'm assuming that it's going to be okay. So 3-inch auger, this is my DeWalt. If you already have a drill, you can use your own drill if you like. However, I used my prior drill before and it wasn't as powerful as this DeWalt is. So I really do love this. And like I said, you guys, you just have to get you one. It makes planting a lot easier for me, whether it's a small bulb or an annual, or even if you're wanting to make a big hole. So I'm making 5 holes right here. And when you're planting these alliums, you want to plant them twice as deep as what they are. So if I have a 2-inch bulb, then you want to plant it 6 to 8 inches deep. So I kind of figured, if I get this auger all the way down into the ground, I'm pretty good. And I have a lot of roots in here too, so that's one thing about planting when your garden's already developed. So I have roots from my roses and I have roots from these sprinter boxwoods as well. So making it dig sometimes is quite hard. Now these alliums are a late bloomer, so my roses are going to leaf out, but I don't think, maybe I did have last year, maybe I did have my first flush of blooms before these went ahead and bloomed out for me. So you can see I'm hitting a root right here and it's causing it to kind of like twist on me. So don't just let it twist and then you just reverse it, and then that allows the drill to come back out. Sometimes when it's real wet it will do this too, or if you hit a rock. So be really, really careful when you have those type of conditions. You can see my Mary boots. I love my Mary People boots. I'm not affiliated with them, but I just love to garden in those. They're so comfortable and they're waterproof, and I can get water and whatever else on them and it doesn't bother them. So I'm just putting bitone in all these holes. You can use bulb tone as well. Now these bulbs come completely like what they need for their energy. So, but I just feel like it does develop the roots really better. It helps my soil be amended, and I just think all my flowers that I plant look more robust and vigorous, I guess I should say. There's so many words that I could use for that term. But just getting them planted and then covering the dirt back up, and then you can even pat all the ground down with your feet after you're finished. Now I had one bad bulb out of all 50. And you could see as soon as I touched it, it became like soft and soggy. So I knew that something was wrong. And you could just see that this is a bad bulb. So just don't plant these and just disregard it. And don't plant or don't put this bulb into your compost bin as well. Just throw it away in the trash. So I've got 5 holes right here, and I'll put 1 allium in each hole. And I believe I put in the quadrants that I had bigger space, I put 5, and I think that quadrant over there, maybe I just put three bulbs in that. So the only place that I planted my alliums is around my rose garden. So I have 4 quadrants of 4 different David Austin roses here, and they're surrounded by these sprinter boxwoods. And I think I have maybe 18 sprinter boxwoods around these roses, and in the front first 2, I have 5 David Austin roses. This quadrant right here is called Gabrielle Oak. And then you can see I'm trying to show you right here, I've been battling some kind of disease in this one boxwood. And maybe I'm thinking it's got some kind of blight, but I've already cut a little bit of it out. And this little twig right here is not doing good as well. So I'm going to try to cut that completely out, and then I'm going to come back and put some kind of disease resistant on it, like not Captain Jack. Captain Jack is for bugs. My copper fungicide might do the trick for this, but I'm not really sure why I'm having to cut this little section out, and it kind of makes me nervous. I may have to dig this whole plant up and replace it with my other existing boxwoods that I have on my skinny side garden. But luckily I already have some that are similar to this size if I have to. So my only thing that I might battle with that would be all the roots that are already developed around it. So trying not to do that if I can prevent it, but I may have to use something more stronger and something more systemic, and maybe some kind of something that will drench this roots. So anyways, I need to come back and, like I said, try to battle that as well. But if you see anything that looks bad, go ahead and just try to cut it out. And then I'm trying to pull all these leaves away from it too, so we can get some air. Because you just never know, it might just be in these leaves too. So that one looks healthy. Yeah, but I guess I need to be grateful for out of all the boxwoods that I have, that I only have, 1 or 2 that I had to struggle with. I'm just trying to show you here all the quadrants Got all the roses not completely pruned back because I'm not going to do that until sometime in January. And these are the raised beds that I have. I got one of those cleaned out, and I'm just showing you this gorgeous, I don't know if it's kale or mustard, whatever that is. Like, I thought I knew all these terms of these cold vegetables, but then sometimes kale looks like a cabbage to me, and then a mustard look like kale. And then I need to get all this cleaned back too. So these are some zinnias, and then because we got some rain in the last couple of days, they're not like as dried as they can be. So I'm going to just try to let them dry a little bit more, and then I need to get it all cleaned out. And I do want to, I think I'm going to plant some pre-sprouts, some ranunculus that I bought from the online store that I got my daffodils in as well, and see if I can get them to go ahead and bloom in that spot right there. So I'm really learning how to do ranunculuses too. If you guys like have any great ideas or any tips for me, then please comment down below, because I planted some and I had gorgeous greenery, but then they never bloomed for me. So I bought some from the Dutch from Holland, and I'm going to see if I can get them to bloom this year. So I have a whole list of instructions that I need to read and try to get some tips from that. So these are trailing pansies, and they're so, so pretty. This is my Galloway urn from Unique Stone, and I have just different violas and pansies in this area right here. Just love the color scheme that I have in here. So, so pretty. And guess what? I got completely done, and I'm so, so tired, and I found one of these still left. It was like it rolled down in between my boxwoods. So I spent a really hard day yesterday planting alliums and getting all those roses cut back. And after getting all 4 quadrants of the roses trimmed back, I didn't like do a hard prune because I'm going to wait to do that in January, which is kind of sounds silly because I'm already in December. However, David Austin says that it is safe to go ahead and prune your roses hard back in January through March. So I always said that I like to do mine around Valentine's Day, and I kind of waited last year and everybody was doing theirs way early, and I had time, so I went ahead and did my hard pruning all the way back to like 12 to 18 inches from the ground back in January last year. So anyways, I just kind of gave them a trim because I couldn't even get in there to even plant those alliums, and I really loved that space. I'll try to find a picture of last year, but I have videos of everything last year. So if you look back a year from, well, they'll be blooming probably in April or May. I'll try to find the video where I did a tour of them and try to show you. They were just gorgeous. They were magical, mystical, Dr. Seuss-like, and I didn't plant near as many last year as I did this year. I planted 50 this year. So like I said, I pruned all those roses back. I had so many leaves from those crepe myrtles that I couldn't even like begin to even plant in there. And when I was starting to dig all those leaves around, they were really wet and moist, and I was like, I do not want this around my roses because I already battled black spot really bad this past year. So that's not something that I want to deal with. And I pretty much cleaned it out last year because I've already told you, like, I know a lot of people like leaves in their garden, and I think that's fine if you don't put mulch down. But if you put mulch down, then you need something covering the ground, because then you're gonna encourage weeds to grow, and you don't want weeds to grow. If you have bare ground in your yard, say you're doing a garden, like vegetable garden, and it's all bare, you don't want to keep that bare because it's going to encourage weeds to grow, even winter weeds. You don't want to do that. So just having like something covering it, like the leaves, mulched up leaves, or even the mulch will encourage those not to grow. They will not grow. So that's how I prevent all of my gardens I don't have very many weeds. I'm not saying I don't. I do some, but I'm not constantly coming out here every week just pulling weeds. It's because I keep a real thick layer of mulch on my flower beds. So, you can hear the planes in the background. I hate that you guys have to listen to the planes because it annoys me, so I'm sure it annoys you. But, like, there's so many planes today. All right, so I got all my alliums in the ground. I still have tulip bulbs in the refrigerator, so I'm going to wait another 3-4 weeks for that. But since it's so warm this past week, I'm going to go ahead and try to get some daffodils in the ground. And for daffodils, for us, we do not have to put them in a cold. They do not need a cold period for them to bloom really well. So I'm right here I'm on the west side garden, and this is my new garden. So I have a lot of space over here where I can actually plant things because last year it was my first time and it was brand new. So I'm right near the lilac hardy hibiscus. Now this hardy hibiscus is a perennial, so it's cut all the way back, and I'm not going to have any flowering out of that until probably June or so. So by the time these daffodils are bloomed and gone, then these lilacs, hardy hibiscus, are going to be like really pretty. So I'm planting them all over here, and then I've got 50 of one type and 50 of another type, and I bought so many daffodils, you guys, like I'm really feeling overwhelmed, but it's going to be a gorgeous show for you guys when I do decide to show you all these blooms. So I'm going to tell you what I bought. I bought these from Dutch Grown, and they did come from Europe or Holland or whatever they came from. So I'm going to name off the names, and then I'm going to throw pictures of them up. So I have Daffodil Apricot Whirl. I have Daffodil Art Design. I have Daffodil British Gamble. I have Daffodil Petite 4, Daffodil Pink Champagne, Daffodil Popeye, like Popeye eating your spinach, and what else? Mini Daffodil Prosecco. So I've got right here about 50 of these Daffodil Capiti Peach, C-A-P-I-T-I, Capiti Peach. I don't even see these. Yeah, I did. I must have said it. I don't know how I said it. But anyways, I have the peach ones, and I'm going to put the peach ones right here since I have 50 of those. And then the mini ones, which are the mini Daffodil Proseccos, these get 12 to 14 inches tall, and the peach ones get 18 to 22 inches tall. So I'm going to have the peach ones more towards the back, and then the mini Daffodil Prosecco here in the front. And I have 50 and 50. And the rest I bought 20, and I'm going to plant all 20 in a big clump. So that way when they grow together, or when they bloom, they're going to look like a big bouquet. So they should look lovely, right? Like, why should they not look lovely? So that's all the daffodils, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to plant these today. Now, if my ground was already worked up, I would rather just dig a big hole, like a trench like, and then place them. But this ground hasn't been worked up except for what's already planted. So it's going to be harder. So I'm going to use my power planter auger right here. This is my DeWalt drill. If you buy the Easy Dig kit, which is what this is what you're going to get, and it comes with 2 augers. This one is a 3-inch auger. So, and I got some plant tags, and I'm going to name these because I do not want to forget what I planted. So that would not be a good thing when I'm sharing flowers with you. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn the camera around, and I'm going to plant a few with you. And like I said, I'm not going to show you how I plant all of these because pretty much planting them all the same way. I do have my biotone, which helps the roots get started. Now, this is debatable whether you want to do this for your bulbs or not. The bulbs come ready for them to bloom this year. They have all their energy that they need in the bulb. but this helps with the roots. And everything that I have planted in my garden, especially with this hard clay, and I don't think it matters if it's hard clay or not, this is going to make the flowers look more beautiful and more robust and more bountiful, and whatever terms you want to use, it's going to make it look so much more beautiful. So anyways, like, I didn't have biotone when I was planting all my alliums, and I debated, and I'm like, nope. So I stopped what I was doing. I had enough to plant the 5 that I showed you, and then I went to the garden center and bought 2 big bags of biotone so I can have it for my tulips too. So even my annuals, I feel like it's proven that if you plant it with the biotone into the ground, that they're going to be more of it, more blooms, more greenery. So it's going to be more of everything, I guess. That's what I figured out so far. So let's get to planting these daffodils before it gets too dark on me. And if I can get up, because I'm getting old, and yesterday wore me out. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to kind of place these where I can see them, right? So I have an azalea here, I have a butterfly bush here. So I think right here I can see them pretty good, right there. So I'm just going to move all this mulch away. I have some really good compost underneath here because when I planted this flower bed, we put a great layer of compost down, and I bought that from Super Sod, and I really do. It comes in a big yellow bag, and it was really worth it when you have big flower beds like this. So just moving all the mulch around. So I don't even really have to use any kind of, I have some big roots in here already. Wow, I wonder what they're from. I bet they're from the hardy hibiscus. Do you see that right there? Alright, so it even tells you on here, planting depth 6 to 8 inches. So normally, whenever you have a bulb, like so, you can see the roots are on the bottom right there, and this is the top. Now they say, like, to plant them like this with the roots down and the pointy part up, and then you're going to plant this. So if this is 2 inches, you want to plant it twice the depth. So that makes sense. So if this is 2 inches, you want to plant it 6 inches deep. So I have 10 of these in here. I'm just going to cover the dirt back. I already put my biotone in there. And I like the power auger too because it just breaks it up into little bitty clumps like this, and it gives your plants a little bit more room to grow where that hard clay is already broken up a little bit. So I feel like it gives it a better start too. And I feel like that's another tip, the reason why my garden does really, really well. Gosh, you can see all these roots that I have right here. And I'm just gonna bring my mulch back over top of it. If you don't know already, another tip, this butterfly bush right here, this buddleia, it's got some white stuff all over it. I really need to spray it with some fungicide. I don't know what that is. I need to get out here and spray it. It comes off when you rub it off, but yeah, I've been meaning to do that too. But anyways, they don't like a lot of mulch around now, if you didn't know that. So I'm 10 here and I've got lots and lots more to plant, but I'm going to do it the exact same way. So anyways, I'm going to get all these planted. I still have more daffodils to plant, but I don't want to bore you with all the planting of the daffodils because I'm just going to show you the gorgeous pictures, what they're going to look like. And then in the springtime, it's going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous display. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was inspirational. I hope you learned something. Like I said, you can either use your auger, you can use a shovel. If my ground is worked up, I like to use like the, what is it called? Where you just dig a trough and then plant them that way. So that's what I like. But for these are gonna be in the ground and I'm not going to pull them up because these will perennialize for me. Now tulips here in my zone will not do that. So I have to pull the whole bulb up and just disregard it and treat it as an annual. But daffodils will not. And I've already got some gorgeous blend that I had last year, and I'll share my last video with you at the end of this video if you're interested in that. They're already starting to pop up. But anyways, get to planting now if you want gorgeous blooms in the spring. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.